1,804 days, 5 long seasons. The NBA playoffs say, Houston, hello. The first time ever a postseason game has been played here downtown in the brand new Toyota Center. It's game 3 of the best of 7. The Lakers won the first 2 in Los Angeles. The scene shifts to Texas. Mike Tirico, George Karl, Tom Tolbert, Jim Gray joins us in a minute. First game was close. Second game, Lakers pulled away in half number 2. How does Houston get one at home?
Well, we all know what they want to do, and that's establish Yao in the half court. But I really believe against the Laker defense, you want to take some shots in the open court. This is not a team that runs particularly well. They're an aging team. I know Van Gundy's not going to get out. It's not going to be Sacramento or Dallas. Take your shots in the open court. If you have an easy shot, sometimes that may be the best shot you have in that possession. Don't be afraid to let the home crowd get into it and let the energy push you.
I think the Lakers have found their defense. The first 2 games, they won because of the defensive end of the court as much as anything else. The other thing is they had Shaq scoring the least points he's ever scored in a playoff game. I think you could have an explosion, a statement. He was here 2.5 hours before the game. First time in Laker history, we think.
He is ready. Let's check the Bud Light starting lineup to see how they will match up the typical players that we've seen for these teams most of the year. Rick Fox, Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal up front for LA. Jim Jackson, Kelvin Cato, and Yao Ming at the center for Houston. Gary Payton didn't play at all in the 4th quarter. Kobe Bryant in the backcourt against Steve Francis coming off a triple-double, and Cuttino Mobley. 4th man on our team is Jim Gray. Jim.
Mike, thank you very much. George just alluded to it. Shaquille O'Neal was here 2.5 hours early. He was practicing his free throws. He is 5 for 17 in this series from the free throw line. He also played some one-on-one with Karl Malone. Every time he has had a subpar game in the playoffs, he's bounced back with a big one. I asked him if that would be the case tonight. He said, absolutely. I guarantee you will not see that type of performance out of me again. Mike?
And Jim, the Lakers, of course, in their familiar purple. Houston in the home white. First playoff game in this building. Kobe Bryant takes the first shot and misses. Cuttino Mobley comes away with the rebound. One injury note we should keep an eye on. Slava Medvedenko for the Lakers. Banged up. If he is not able to go, it'll be the youngsters Cook and Walton that must be a factor off the bench. Steve Francis passed up the shot. 8 to shoot for Cuttino Mobley. And Kobe swipes it away defensively.
Those are the type of shots that I'm talking about, Mike, and not so much that wasn't in the open court, but against these 2 teams, if you have an open shot, you have to pull the trigger. You're not doing anybody any favors by passing up open shots.
6 to shoot. You see the Rockets, who have come back twice in franchise history from down 2-0. Cato keeps it alive and draws the all-important first foul on O'Neal. Shaquille picked up 2 in the first 6 minutes of game 2.
And it's good to see the crowd into it. Just nobody boxing out. Shaq was going the wrong way, and Cato just found the rebound. And I had to tell you this. I just got late word. This is unofficial news from the league office that David Stern might invoke the best interest of the game clause and cancel the rest of the Celtic-Pacers series. And just give it to Indiana.
There you see the numbers for Kelvin Cato, who's off the mark on the first one. Played just 16 minutes because he picked up 3 first-quarter fouls in game 2 of this series. That was back in Staples Center earlier in the week on Monday. The Lakers winning 98 to 84. So we've had a long layoff in this series. Haven't played in almost 96 hours. Cato 0 for 2 at the line. Gary Payton on the bench all of quarter 4 of the last game, and Karl Malone missed it. O'Neal the rebound, goes right at Yao and draws the foul on Yao.
I think that one thing I think should be emphasized, that Houston in the first two games played the Lakers basically even for 7 quarters. They lost the first game by 1 point, and in game 2, up until 2-minute mark, they were only down 3 or 4 points to the Lakers. The Lakers exploded in the 4th quarter, won easily in game 2. Houston has got to find a way, a belief, to beat this basketball team in this first half of this game tonight.
One more for Shaq, and notice, guys, where he's standing a little bit back from the edge of the free throw line. And he missed them.
Stand a little further back.
Missed them both.
Get another coach.
Shaquille was 4 of 14 free throws in game 1, 1 of 3 in game 2, under 50% for the year. Peter on the tape. So the 7th-year man out of Iowa State gets the first field goal of this 3rd game.
I really feel the pick and roll has got to be a bigger part of the Houston Rockets offense. The Lakers have always had some trouble covering pick and roll.
Gary Payton inside is blocked by Yao. Still 10 to shoot, plenty of time. Shaquille, who's watched by Cato. That's goaltend as Steve Francis trying to send the message.
That's good energy, though. That's a good defensive play, even though it's goaltending. I like the energy of the building, the athleticism. Francis he knows it's goaltending, but he's just into the game. He's excited.
That was ridiculous.
You just never could do that.
Oh, yeah, when it got that low, I could.
You mean 6'3", goaltending a man, 7'1", shooting the ball? Yao on Shaq. Got it to go. So important where Yao Ming's able to catch the ball. The Lakers have pushed him out of the paint. Yao's comfort zone is at least 1 foot inside that lane line in the paint. We've got to keep an eye on that when Houston's in the half court offensively. Cato bumped O'Neal. Yao the miss. Yao the rebound, I should say, on the O'Neal miss.
I think it should be pointed out that Cato is covering Shaq and Yao is covering Malone.
Do you like that?
I think it's a smart move to try to keep Yao out of foul trouble.
Going.
Jim Jackson, usually a sharpshooter, a big miss there. He missed the three that would have won game 1 for the Rockets after O'Neal put back Kobe Bryant's errant three-pointer 6 days ago.
Well, if they were going to guard Karl Malone with Yao Ming, that's what can happen right there. And if they're going to do that, I would run pick and rolls with Karl Malone at Yao Ming and make him defend Karl on the outside, which I don't think he's capable of doing.
We have a delay of game warning on the Lakers. Next one would result in a technical foul.
And Karl really came back and shot the ball well in game 2. After game 1, shipped the rim.
Steve Francis gives Houston a 2-point lead. Malone was 3 of 14 in game 1, Tom. 7 of 12 from the field in game 2.
Oh, too low.
Shaq catching and throwing it down on Cato.
You can almost tell if he's going to score or not by where he catches the ball. I mean, he catches the ball 2 feet in the paint. You are done. Absolutely done. Just try not to get hurt.
Cuttino Mobley, boy, do they need offense from the lefty out of Rhode Island, and he'll get some free throws. Fouled in the act of shooting.
This is a great play by Francis going away from the pick and roll at the midcourt and just getting to the rim. Shaq got cheated up. Here, Shaq, impossible. You can't stop the man. He catches the ball 2 feet from the basket. You may as well foul him or get out of his way.
The foul was on Kobe Bryant, his first. And here's Mobley, 10 points in game 1, 9 points in game 2.
Not enough. Mobley and Maurice Taylor off their bench are the 2 players that can be more effective in their offense. One of them or both of them has got to contribute some points and a lot of points and get a confidence in the game at the offensive end of the court.
There is Taylor, 7th-year man out of Michigan, the best scoring option off of Jeff Van Gundy's bench. Early lead for the Rockets. Game 3, trying to get one and make it a series. Game 4, Sunday on ABC. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern. Malone pass to Shaq. And a free throw.
That's the problem you run into right there. I mean, you're better off getting out of the way than reaching in with an arm, because you're just not going to do it. And I see, this is the problem that the league has with Shaq, because that's a foul right there. A lot of times that won't get called because it doesn't look like much against Shaq, and that's where Shaq in turn gets frustrated because he doesn't get some of the calls that maybe he deserves.
O'Neal makes that free throw and puts LA on top 9-8.
I think if he keeps missing, he had to go from Van Exel to Michael Adams, move over to the right. Just keep exploring the whole half circle area so you can find a hot zone.
I'm taking bank shots.
Jimmy Jackson triple. Well, Houston has just not hit its 3-pointers in this series. 5 of 22 in the first 2 games.
You know what they're doing, though, Mike? They're getting to their offense a little earlier than they have in the first 2 games.
On a switch, Francis had
Look out again.
Shaq over Cato. Wow. So Shaquille O'Neal has 9 of the Laker 11 points here in the first 4:15, and he's open 4 of 5 from the field.
When he gets that low, you have to front him because there's no room to throw a lob at that point. Easier said than done. He's pretty wide.
Yao the turn to hook. Can you stay with Cato on Shaq?
I don't think so. I think right now they're going to have to go to double team or switch Yao back on.
Again, Karl Malone's left free for a jumper. Now comes down with the rebound, his 3rd here in the first 5 minutes. Bryant shuts off the paint on Mobley. They're good drivers from the side. Mobley and Francis. Mobley had to expend a lot of energy on Kobe defensively. Bryant had a quiet first half, but 3 good halves since then. Rick Fox now 0 of 6 in the series, but Shaq is 5 of 6 tonight.
He's unstoppable.
And Houston will take a timeout. Well, he showed up early. He was the first one on the floor. He only had 7 points, a career playoff low. He's guarding Yao Ming, who's gotten off to a good start, hitting both of his field goals and has 3 rebounds. But Shaq's 7 points, game 2, playoff low. You think he can make a comeback? He has 11 in the first half of the first quarter.
Very nice.
Like all light beers, it's low in carbs. Unlike any other light beer, it's got the great taste of Bud Light. What we have here is a failure to compromise. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
In the world of a professional assassin, there is no place for compassion, no room for hesitation. There is only the target, and no one escapes the hitman. Hitman Contracts, in stores now, rated M for mature.
Why don't you take these out for a spin?
Hey, nice kicks.
I'll take them. Reebok Classic Leather BB, only at Foot Locker.
Game 3, Lakers lead the series 2-0 and lead this game by 3. Shaquille O'Neal 5 of 6 to start.
Well, it's all about position and all about where you get the ball. You're going to watch all these touches, 2 feet in the paint, and there is just nothing you can do with that man when he catches it that low.
Well, Shaq reminds me, his face, about, I think, 7, 8 years ago, I was coaching an All-Star game that I was accused of double-teaming Shaq in the All-Star game. We were playing, I was in Seattle at the time. We played Shaq about 10 days later. And he came out, and it was the papers, everybody said that I had came up with the strategy, double-team Shaq, take him out in an All-Star game. That was not necessarily the truth, but in the game, the first quarter score was 44-12. It was the fastest game I've ever been out of in my life.
Shaq took care of most of the 44, I would guess.
And Shaq right now is kind of playing that way.
Houston ball, Boston Nakbar is in the game because Jim Jackson was led off the floor with athletic trainer Pete Taylor as Cato puts the follow dunk back in. Second time he's done that here. So Nakbar has played only 7 minutes in this series and averaged only 11 minutes per game. He's been playing half the games this year. He's in the lineup in a huge time here for Houston in game 3. Jim Gray will check on the injury to Jim Jackson. Gary Payton doubled. Takes a timeout, 22nd timeout for the Lakers. Jeff Van Gundy is first year here in Houston, has the Rockets in the playoffs going up against Phil Jackson. Only once have they been head coaches against each other in a playoff series, but of course 5 times Jeff an assistant with the Knicks when Phil was with the Chicago Bulls. 2 games tonight here on ESPN, and our playoff coverage continues throughout the weekend. A doubleheader tomorrow night, 7 Eastern. The team shifts to Dallas for game 3, Sacramento and Dallas, and then the first playoff game in 9 years. in Denver as the Timberwolves take on the Nuggets. Both road teams looking to go up 3-0. You'll see it on ESPN, home of the Eastern Conference Finals, leading to the finals on ABC.
I don't think I've ever quite seen a playoff start out the way this one has, where it's home cooking. The road team, and I would have never thought Milwaukee would have been the first road team to win a game in the playoffs, but it's been pretty amazing. The underdogs just aren't getting it done in the playoffs so far.
The higher seeds with the game up in Boston, the first end of our doubleheader. The higher seeds are now 18-1. Malone connects, and the Lakers have a 3-point edge. There you go with the number. Only the 6th seed Milwaukee beating Detroit on Wednesday. Game 3 of that series in Milwaukee is tomorrow afternoon over on TNT. Is that Shaq? Oh, it's a kick. Kick ball. No foul call. Just a reset of the shot clock.
Kick ball. You see a crossover right there. Kicked it, then tripped him.
Got the foot, got the leg first before the ball.
Like a football, a soccer play.
We saw Reggie Miller at the end of the first half of game 1 of the Pacers series pick up a technical foul for doing that. Actually, it's game 2 the other night. 7 to shoot. Malone comes out so good on pick and roll defense. Steve Francis, tough shot.
Great defense by Gary.
And that's where you get into trouble trying to get into your offense with under 8 seconds left. It's tough enough to get a good shot. You make it difficult on yourself waiting that long.
Ooh! Payton splits Yao and Steve Francis. And the Lakers have opened up with a terrific start, 8 of 14 from the field.
May need some Dramamine after that move.
There's been enough drama with the Lakers this season. Boston Nakbar, a 3. So the man who hits the 3 is the man coming off the bench. The Rockets' first-round pick of 2002, second-year man out of Slovenia, Boston Nakbar. Rick Fox, offensive foul. So Nakbar hits the 3 and takes the knockdown.
The Houston Rockets has been searching for their 3-point shot in the first 2 games. No one can make one that counted. The Lakers actually made a lot of big 3s in the 4th quarter of both games, and that might be a sign. Nakbar's 3 could give him some life from the outside the arc.
Tim Jackson has returned to the Houston bench. Time 10 to shoot from Mobley. Skip pass to Francis, who tees it and makes it. So Houston, 5 3-pointers in the first 2 games. 2 3-pointers on back-to-back trips here, and the Rockets retake the lead. Will be 0 for 1 thus far. Double it, get him out of their hands, and force the turnover. Francis the push on Payton. Gary circles him away. Nakbar's at the line, near side, calling for it. It's Yao and Karl Malone with O'Neal coming to help.
Yeah. He can't do anything. I mean, Malone can't do anything with Yao because Yao keeps the ball too high. And when Karl defends the post, he likes to slap down on the ball. And as soon as Yao goes up with a shot, Karl's not going to challenge it. Those are easy buckets down low.
8 in a row for the Rockets. Malone lost it because he was fouled by Nakbar.
But in this move, Yao hits the ball in good position, close to the lane, and there's some separation. He separates on the spin, which gives him the freedom to shoot the ball without anybody coming near it. Most of the first 2 games, the Lakers have put lower body pressure on Yao as much as possible, bumping him, pushing him, and when he goes up for a shot, walking underneath him some.
Kobe's second shot is his first field goal of the night.
Rockets have 20. It's amazing.
In that first game, there was only 1 quarter, the 4th, where Houston scored 20. Cuttino Mobley.
It's a different team we're watching tonight offensively.
Well, they're home.
They're different. Well, they're getting to their offense early. They're shooting shots confidently early in the shot clock. And there's a rhythm to what they're doing offensively.
And there's a balance to it, too.
Yao came over for some help. Wave an arm in Bryant's face as he shot it. Inside of 3 minutes now, first quarter. Francis the lob to Nakbar, who got it back. Still fighting for it inside, and the Lakers come away with it, and they call an offensive foul on Karl Malone for throwing his elbow. Nakbar didn't get the dunk. Didn't give up. Took a shot in the chops and draws the personal foul. Rocket ball when we come back. Back here at the Toyota Center, Houston leading Los Angeles 22-19. There is 23-year-old Bosjan Nakbar, the second-year Rocket out of Slovenia, who had played just 5 minutes in this series thus far. His brother, Grega, plays for the University of Houston. They're now to be coached by Tom Penders. Came in the game because of the injury to Jim Jackson and knocked down the three-pointer. You know, early in the season, he averaged 15 minutes per game in the first 13 and stuck his nose right in there, drawing one foul on Rick Fox and this foul on Karl Malone after he missed the alley-oop. Nakbar, who played only 14 games as a rookie, I mentioned he played 45 total games this season. The last 2 games of the season when the Rockets set Steve Francis and Cuttino Mobley and Kelvin Cato was in the doghouse a little bit, Nakbar had a chance to play a little bit more. Scored 23 points in the last couple of games. So here he is inserted in a very key moment in this series for the Rockets. He remains on the floor. Maurice Taylor has come in for Houston as well. Devin George in for the Lakers. And Mobley extends the lead to 5.
I think Nakbar playing the game is going to be a guy that can extend the defense for LA and maybe get Yao more involved in a low post position. His shooting, the three-point play is going to be important all through this game.
Kobe 1 for 3. Shaq started hot if you're just joining us. 11 of LA's first 13. Hasn't had a shot since. And Yao's not guarding him. Cato is. 2 to shoot. And Bryant. Rebound for Malone. So Karl Malone has 3 boards and 6 points in the first 10 minutes of this one.
But the big guys for the Lakers, but Shaq and Karl get the job done.
Steve Francis coming off the 4th triple-double in Rockets playoff history. That's a foul on Kobe Bryant trying to deny Cuttino Mobley. Let's get a Jim Gray update on Jimmy Jackson.
Mike, he's back out on the bench, came out here a couple minutes ago. Keith Jones, the trainer, took a look at Jackson. What he has is he has a strain in his lower back on the right-hand side. He will return to the game, but it's stiffened up. They're going to keep an eye on him. It's been bothering him. He did some sprints back behind underneath the corridor, and he will return to the game. Mike?
Okay, Jim, 2 fouls on Kobe. Let's see if Mobley goes at him. Malone helped for defense, knocked it off the back stanchion, and that is a loud turnover.
What in the world? Wow, look at this thing.
Karl Malone comes across off.
Wow!
Like the microphone. Didn't you get that microphone over there?
That was unbelievable.
What I think's interesting is Kobe Bryant's been an all-defensive player, but a lot of teams think they can post him in the low post. And right now, in the last 3 possessions, basically that's what they've done. They've taken Mobley down on the low block and see what he could do against Kobe.
Kobe sits with 2. Kareem Rush and Devin George in the game for LA with Payton O'Neal and Malone. Karl Malone, who has seen plenty of the Houston Rockets during his many playoff trips with the Utah Jazz. It's a hoop there to make it a 1-point game.
You don't realize how tough that shot is just watching at home. I mean, he's done it year after year after year. But with a guy right in his face, arm right in his face, he's fading away from 17.
Nakbar caused the defense to come out to him, and George picked up the foul. That's 3 fouls picked up by the defender on Nakbar.
That's vintage right there. I mean, we've seen that for the past 15 years or so. He didn't have that. That's the one thing about Karl Malone. He did not have that shot when he first came into the league. He was a pure power player. And you see the all-time playoff points, 3rd on the list behind Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he didn't have that. And he worked and worked until that shot made him probably the best shooting power forward, mid-range-wise, in the NBA.
One more free throw coming for Nakbar. Karl Malone for 2nd on the all-time point list behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He'd have to average 18 a game next year, his 2nd and final year of his 2-year deal with the Lakers. Of course, a lot of consternation or questions about Karl coming back to play next year. After we talked with him last night, George, I'm not sure if Karl is sure what he wants to do next year.
After listening to him last night, I don't think he'd come back, but I really think he wants the record.
O'Neal the miss, Francis the rebound, final minute.
Caught the ball with 2 feet outside the paint that time. Had to make the move to get inside the paint. The result, a miss.
Maurice Taylor. Some of the offensive options that Houston can have for scoring off the bench come from number 2 Taylor. Yao is on the bench here at the back end of the opening quarter. Malone's jump pass almost got trapped up in the air. Steve Francis trying to negotiate it for a turnover, instead 11 to shoot. for LA. Phil Jackson, the all-time playoff winner with 164 wins as a playoff head coach. 164 and 60. Maurice Taylor draws the assignment on Shaq. Payton takes a three. Wanted the foul on Francis. It's out off LA. 12.9 left in the quarter.
Well, this is the exact start that Houston wanted. You weather Shaq's storm early on. You trail by 2-3 points. You take the lead. You got good offensive momentum. You got a chance to go up 5 or 6 here at the end of the quarter. Great first quarter by the Houston Rockets.
There's space to Stevie. Francis tries to end with a three. The highest scoring quarter for the Rockets in this series. As you would expect in Game 3, down 2-0, the home team comes out with attitude, buoyed by an energetic crowd, seeing their first home playoff game in 5 years.
You're watching 20th Century Fox's presentation of ESPN's Play Like There's No Tomorrow.
Quarter 2 of Game 3 here in Houston. Yao Ming and the Rockets with the lead, 29-23. With Tom Tolbert, George Karl, and Jim Gray, Mike Tirico. Glad you are on hand here in Houston. The headlines from quarter 1. Shaq was 5 of 7 from the field as the Lakers shot over 50%. The Rockets hit 3 of 4 threes in their 58% from the field. Only player with more than 1 foul, Kobe Bryant with 2. Derek Fisher in the game for LA, as well as Bryant back in, along with Kareem Rush, Luke Walton, and Karl Malone. Jimmy Jackson back in. Went out with a back injury in the first quarter. And there is Walton on the rebound.
Didn't make that shot, but I like that matchup for Houston. I like a veteran, physical veteran being guarded by a young guy.
Kick ball. Reset the clock as Cuttino Mobley comes in right away from Boston Nuxbar, who hit a couple of shots.
They got a good 6-7 minutes out of Nockbar there. He got 5 points. I think he played about 8 minutes. Got some energy in the game. Those wild cards off your bench are always important. I think right now Walton playing instead of Medvedenko. You got him in the game instead of Cook. I think both of them could play tonight at the 4 position.
Yep, Slava Medvedenko not in uniform. He's out with an injury. Karl Malone rims it out. And a rebound for Mobley. Rebounds 11-10 LA to this point. They left Mobley free. And Kobe gets the board. Shaquille O'Neal and Yao Ming on the bench.
Nice.
Second, Bryant cuts. He'll get some free throws as Maurice Taylor came over to commit his first.
What a great pass. And that's an example of not passing at someone, but passing to a spot and letting them go get it. Watch where he drops it. He knows where Kobe's going to be. He leads him, lets Kobe go get the ball, and then he gathers and lays it up, gets fouled, and gets a trip to the free throw line.
One more coming for Kobe. You can log on to NBA.com, play Virtual GM Playoff Edition, pick your fantasy dream team, and try to beat Bill Walton's score to be eligible for great prizes. Virtual GM Playoff Edition, only on NBA.com.
How can you not beat that score?
Yao back in off the bench.
Have you logged on yet?
My computer reeks, man. Don't get me started on that.
This computer is awful.
Yeah.
So Yao comes back in after Kobe got right to the rim, driving the lane. And as soon as he comes in, Shaq returns as well. You know, guys, the talk of Shaq Yao. This would be Shaq now, let's see, 9. 2 from last year regular season, 4 from the regular season this year, 3 meetings here. In a playoff series, it's obviously not the focus. It may sell it from a television standpoint nationally because you have 2 of the biggest men in the league, but it's so much more involved when you get to the playoffs with all the adjustments and key matchups.
What I like about it is when big guys face off against each other, they're usually in the same spot and they guard each other. Sometimes with guards, that doesn't come to fruition. The big guys, when they square off, it's always fun to watch it because you always know where they're going to be.
Jackson missed that 3. Lakers a chance to get it to 2 or 1. Jim Jackson draws Kobe defensively here. The bench was so good for LA in Game 2, but how will the young bench play on the road? Jackson, let's touch on Bryant.
But Tom, isn't the Yao and Shaq in the addition period really? It's something 2 years from now. It could be one of the all-time great matchups. I mean, but Yao is just too young. He's too inexperienced. He's a good player, a very tough player, but he's not a dominant player. He's not a winner in playoff basketball yet.
I don't know where they're going to cross, because once Yao gets a little older, mature, you know, Shaq's going to be maybe a little older and past his prime.
Shaq is 32, Yao is 23, and then there's Rush for 3.
This guy's been unbelievable.
Unbelievable. For a young player to come in the game and knock down the jumpers he's knocked down has been really big for LA.
5 of 7 shooting threes for Rush here in the series. First three-point bang for the Lakers tonight. Walton guarding Taylor. Try to bank it off the window, and he'll get some free throws.
Well, he's been hitting some. This is a guy that coming out of Missouri can stroke it. He can flat out stroke it. A young guy sometimes gets lost out there, but on offense, if he can tee it up and spot up, and right now, you know how important the first couple of games were as far as confidence goes? If you're a young guy, you miss a couple of shots in the playoffs, you start thinking, should I be shooting this ball? Should I get it to Kobe or Shaq? But when you make them, you have confidence and you keep stroking it.
What Phil has done very well is his starting unit is not a shooting unit, but his second team is a shooting unit. And it's very difficult for players to focus in on the change, when the change happens. And I think that's what Houston has done poorly, is they have not recognized the shooting unit when it's been on the basketball court.
The 2 free throws made by Taylor, who's making his first playoff appearance here in 2004. Like Steve Francis and Yao Ming, very little playoff experience on this Rocket roster. Luke Walton forces his way inside. Here comes Francis. Secondary break, Mobley. Bryant stayed home defensively. There's Yao, catches in the paint. Twists it back out to Taylor. And it's a Mobley 3. It's off Derek Fisher, Houston ball. Tim Gray.
Hey, Mike, you guys are talking about Yao and Shaq, and I talked to Shaq, interviewed him a couple of days ago. He said to him, Yao Ming is George Mirasan strong. He said George Mirasan was the strongest guy he played against, but he has skills and he can really play. He said, this guy can give me a physical pounding. He said, he is unbelievable how strong Yao is, and he really likes his game.
Yao set the screen there, Jim. Steve Francis hit the 3. You get the sense in talking to both players over the 9 meetings between them. I've done 3 of them. There's a great deal of respect for each individual between Shaq and Yao. Timeout taken by the Lakers. Houston, which had hit only 5 3-pointers in the first 2 games, has 4 in the first 15 minutes. Hey, you're playing a very talented team. Need to hit something from behind the arc. Here it is, Houston by 6. Good chance to take a look at the updated McDonald's NBA playoff bracket. Here in the West, you see the higher seed, 9-0. San Antonio getting the win, holding off Memphis last night. Game 4 of this series will be seen on ABC at 3:30 Eastern on Sunday. Our coverage beginning with GMC NBA hang time from Times Square at 3. Fisher gets to the cup. Derek Fisher gets the hoop. Derek closed out the game with Gary Payton on the bench in Game 2.
I know we probably have some great games left in round 1, but the second round of the NBA is going to be fantastic.
Jim Jackson knocks down a 3. So there is 5 3-pointers for the Rockets, as many as they had in the first 2 games. And the 3 is so important because this is not a very good offensive team.
It's a huge weapon. And really, you're talking about getting the crowd into it. A 3 can do it just like a dunk.
Shaq coming across the lane with the hook. There are the numbers. Just awful shooting. Yao catching in the paint.
Wow.
Pitch for Jackson. Repost the big fella. Kobe came down and knocked it away. It's a foul on Steve Francis, who just took out Derek Fisher.
I'm surprised Yao didn't turn around and shoot that first one. I mean, he had great position, and he kicked it out. I mean, that's what you want. You want your big guy to have the ball 5 feet away from the bucket and turn around and get a jump shot. Now, it'd be interesting, and I would say out of Shaq's 5 of 8 shooting, that he's probably 5 of 5 or 4 for 5 when he catches the ball 2 feet in the paint. And maybe has made 1 or possibly no field goals when he's got the ball outside the paint.
Double on Kobe, leaves Walton free. Gets inside between Francis and Yao.
Good move, beating the smaller guy off the dribble, taking the hit from the bigger guy, maintaining body control, and making the bucket.
I think the Lakers right now have lost Shaq a little bit.
Francis off balance when he went up. Derek Fisher got up underneath. And the foul was called by Mike Callahan, who works the game tonight with James Capers and Eddie F. Rush.
I think in the first 6 minutes of the game, Shaq was incredibly into the game, involved, intense, and dunking everything. And he kind of faded away from it. I think it'd be very important, I think, in the next 6 minutes, 7 minutes of this half, that Shaq gets a few more touches, a little more involved. It's been interesting that throughout the year, and especially in this series, is you can't get Kobe and Shaq together. You usually get one or the other. And they've had trouble getting both of them as involved in having the big game that they can have and carry a basketball team.
Kareem Rush, goes to the bench, and Gary Payton comes back in. So Payton and Fisher will play the backcourt together. Francis knocks down both. The Rockets are 8 of 10 from the line thus far tonight. Houston team that got to the line just 16 times total in game one. Payton came in, got a shot, didn't finish. Lakers have led by 5. Houston, largest lead of the night now at 9 as Mobley hits the jumper. Guys, they have 21 of the 41 from Francis and Mobley.
Well, they're the ones that are creating. And if they're not creating for themselves, they're creating for somebody else. And I just think you can't emphasize the fact that they're getting into stuff early, which makes it easier on them.
Payton throws it up. Kobe there to finish.
Well, that's what happens when 7 guys box out Shaq. Everybody on the team boxed Shaq out. Kind of forgot about Kobe.
It's a lesson learned from the end of game one. We're going to box you out this time, right? Francis.
Bad shot. Bad selection.
Payton on the run out. Stevie got it after it hit the glass. It's goaltending.
Compounds it with a bad retreat in defense.
Yeah, you're right. That's one of the things. And you see the goaltending, once it hits the glass, you got to leave it alone. Knocked it in anyway. You make your move. You make your move, you go up with your shot. But you don't make your move, the guy sticks with you. Then remake your move and keep dribbling, and then shoot it.
Well, Francis had 5 years where he was the man. He was the offense that centered around him, and that was allowed. But their offense was very down to his change.
Another turnover here by the Rockets, who turned it over 20 times in game one. Kobe spinning, put it up high to avoid Yao, who gets the board, pitches to Francis, and here come the Rockets. 3-on-2. Stevie the pitch. Mobley the finish. Touch for the big fella coming. Swung over to Kobe. Luke Walton, nice cut. Couldn't convert. Nice job by Francis to get back in bounds. On the move, Mo Taylor makes himself a pretzel. We're going to get the foul before the putback by Yao. The Houston Rockets with a very good effort here to start in a must-win if they want to make this a long series. Sounds like Steve Francis is freed up. It's in transition. He and Mobley, both in double figures. They have 23 of the Houston 43. Rockets by 7.
Hey, yo, Thirst, let me get a Sprite. No.
You're watching the 2004 NBA playoffs on ESPN.
City that earned the reputation of Clutch City during the back-to-back championships in 94 and 95. Back here in Houston, let's check the GMC game track, how the Rockets have worked their way up 7 halfway through the second. Shaquille O'Neal had all his points early, no points after the first 5:19 of this one. Only 3 shots, but all makes for Yao Ming. Neither one of the big men in foul trouble. The three-point line, Tom, the story. Houston as many as they had in the first 2 games.
Well, it opens up a lot of things. You can hit the three-pointer. You can stretch the defense a little bit, makes the creases bigger, makes the passing lanes a little bit bigger, and makes your offense a little easier to run.
But, I mean, the Lakers have been known throughout the last couple of years that you can beat them on pick and rolls, you can beat them in transition, and you can suck in their defense and get three-point shots. And I think right now that's the formula right now that Houston is kind of leading on. They have Yao down there. They're giving him some touches, but the transition has been, the tempo has been faster than the first two games. They've knocked down the three, and their predominant offense has been the pick and roll.
One free throw for Maurice Taylor. Mark Jackson, the 17-year veteran. In the lineup for the Rockets is Steve Francis. Will take a few minutes here to rest. Slapped away by Jim Jackson and out of bounds. We talk about this Houston team. I mentioned the back-to-back championships from a decade ago. Mark Jackson has more than half of the games played in the playoffs for this entire Houston team. And Jim Jackson has another 25. So even though we've seen the Rockets in the playoffs so often in our recent memory, it's the first home game here in 5 years in the postseason, and so few of these players have been through it. Look at everybody converge on Kobe, and the foul is called. They're going to tag it to Jimmy Jackson.
But I think you have seen all through the playoffs in this match, this series, it's inexperience versus experience. The Lakers, unbelievable, 884 games to 245 playoff games. But this is throughout the Western Conference. You got Minnesota, Denver. Minnesota has much more experience. And then you have the inexperienced teams at the bottom of the bracket. Memphis versus San Antonio. Again, Memphis has had a great year, a very productive season. Their inexperience, I think, is showing. Houston's inexperience showed in the first two games. Their pride is showing in tonight's game.
As you saw on the graphic, this 100th playoff game for Kobe Bryant. Jim Jackson gets the rebound. That's 100 playoff games for Kobe. Here now in his 8th season. And Karl Malone, who's been to the playoffs all the way through his great 19-year career, only 75 more games. It's all those deep trips into the playoffs for these Lakers.
Well, Kobe could end up around 300 by the time he calls it quits.
Mobley, who played in the last Rockets playoff series when they were eliminated by the Lakers in the opening round in 1999. He's 5 of 8 from the field, Cuttino, here in the first half. They continue to double Bryant. It's up to somebody else to make a shot. It's Rick Fox, still without a field goal in this series. Knocked out of bounds by Karl Malone.
No confidence.
He's having an offer.
Yeah, I don't think Rick Fox feels like he can make plays when he has the ball. And I don't know if he's had the time coming off the injury to really fully acclimate himself and get back in playing shape. And you see it right now. I mean, he has a lot of open shots that he passes up because I don't think he feels confident that he can make a play right now.
He did play 38 games. Remember, he injured the tendon in his left foot in the opening round series last year against Minnesota. Rockets turn it over here. LA tries to cut into the largest lead of the night at 9. And the Lakers turn it over as Bryant got trapped in the air.
One of those periods when Shaq disappeared for him. He was the guy that did it early, and somehow, some way, when the other team's making the run, and you've had such great success with your big guy, you got to find a way to get him the ball.
Now up top, had the inclination, but pulled it back. Driving on O'Neal. Taylor lost it. It was Kobe in transition. Third field goal for Bryant. He has 9. The Lakers are led by O'Neal's 11. Francis, who's on the bench with 13, and Mobley with 12. And I think we'll see Steve coming up after this Houston timeout. Kobe Bryant, who carried the Lakers in Game 2 with 36 points, getting to the free throw line 17 times, knocks down that hoop to cut the lead to 7.
Welcome back to the 2004 NBA playoffs on ESPN.
Coming up in moments on the Toyota Halftime Show, I'll be joined as always by these two guys, and we will head to Los Angeles where the presentation of the Most Improved Player Award will be handed out by Andre Aldridge of NBA TV. Plus, Celtics and Pacers will highlights from that game. But, guys, your thoughts on this?
Well, I think you got to look at Steve Francis building on the confidence with the triple-double from Game 2. He's come out and really, I think, set a fire under the Houston Rockets.
The Lakers are giving up 55% shooting from the field. They've got to play some defense, and my goodness, Rick Fox, please show some confidence. Hit a shot, man. Just hit a shot.
All right, let's go back to Mike Tirico in Houston.
Okay, guys, we'll see you at halftime. We're talking to Karl Malone before the game. He spoke for so many of the players, Shaquille O'Neal as well. I think all athletes and sports fans were saddened and emotionally touched by the news of the death of Pat Tillman, the football player from the Arizona Cardinals, who, as many of you know, was an Army Ranger, the Special Forces, and was killed in action in Afghanistan. And word coming back to the U.S. today. Karl Malone telling me earlier today that it was tough for him. He normally takes a nap the day of a game. He couldn't take his nap. He was tossing and turning, watching TV, watching the coverage of it. Just the realization by these players who are lauded by us and by their many fans as heroes, that those are the real heroes, especially when it's one of their brethren, a professional athlete. Yao inside has it taken away by Malone. It goes out of bounds here. Rocket ball. Shaquille O'Neal made the point. Shaquille's dad, of course, in the Army, known as Sarge. And Shaq telling me before the game back in the Lakers locker room, the Army tie is one thing, but the hero tie to all the men and women in our armed forces and the policemen and the firemen. Shaq said it would be great if we could have trading cards for those people in our sports trading cards. And I just wanted to pass along from Shaq and Karl Malone and many of the players who we talked to, their thoughts and prayers to the Tillman family. That's Karl Malone's shoe with a sticker remembering the prisoners of war and those missing in action. It was something that was very close to Karl's mom, who passed away, as you might remember, last year. And Karl put that on his sneakers at the start of this season. His thoughts, like many, with the Tillman family. Jim?
Mike, just to add to that, an email was sent to Karl Malone from someone who was born in Salt Lake City, who's following Karl in Iraq. The only reason he's following him because he wants to see if Karl wins his championship. Karl responded by telling him that he loved the man and everything that everybody was doing over there on all of our behalf. Mike?
These guys do understand that they're sports heroes, but they are not real heroes.
And I think one thing that people should know about Pat Tillman, too, is this guy turned down a big contract from the Arizona Cardinals, over $3 million to make $18,000 a year as an Army Ranger, and he didn't do any interviews. He didn't do it for the purposes of drawing publicity to himself. He was affected by the events of 9/11, as many of us were, and he felt like he wanted to support his country, represent his country, and go over there and just be somebody that was doing that with the Army Rangers.
There's a clock problem here. That's why the delay. Shot clock at 8, properly reset. And Jim Jackson hits a 3 to give Houston its largest lead of the night at 10. 49-39. As we get back into the game, just a tip of the hat to the NBA as well. Both here at the Toyota Center and in Boston tonight, a moment of silence before the game to honor the memory of Pat Tillman. Kobe went up and got his own miss. And it's an 8-point game here with 3 minutes left. What do you watch for here, Coach, in the last 3 minutes of this half?
I would really think the Lakers would try to get Shaq back into their offense, and I think Houston is kind of playing well enough that they could blow it open a little bit more.
Yao spinning, losing, hitting the deck, but a free 3 for Francis, who comes in to tee up Taylor. Foul on O'Neal. That will be Shaquille's second personal. He and Kobe have 2.
Twice this year when Houston beat the LA Lakers, they scored a lot of points. Van Gundy this morning, when we talked to him, was talking about the offense as much as he loves talking about defense most of the time, but he was talking about offense, and the tempo had to be a little bit better, that they had to get some more play out of Taylor and Mobley. And it was just in Francis to continue the triple-double he had in game 2 to come out tonight and play another spectacular game. He's getting a lot of good performances on the court. I actually think the game is teetering on Houston taking it a little deeper into double digits. And I think LA is going to have to settle down and study what they did in the first half at halftime and come out with maybe a little more solid plan in the second half.
Taylor 1 of 2. Houston leads by 9. Jeff Van Gundy's team scored 99 on Christmas night on ABC, the win in LA, and then 102 here as they beat the Lakers by 15 in February. Payton over Francis. And the rebound for Houston.
Where's Shaq? Give him a touch.
Still 1 shot here in the quarter. Kobe came across with a steal. He has 2 fouls. Has to be careful not to get 3. Yao, a devastating knockdown on Payton, but Francis falls. And we have a kicking foul on Shaq, I believe. If it is, it's his 3rd. It is. 3 on O'Neal.
Look out! Oh! How about a deep leader? That's a good pick, too.
But the play here is Shaq just makes a silly foul. He's got two. He gets beat. Let him go.
It's just a trip. It's almost like his feet got in the way.
He just should get out of his way. When he has two fouls, sometimes he plays very immature in that situation. They need Shaq in this game, and I don't know, 3 fouls is, they've got 2 big guys on their team. They got 2 big players, Malone and Shaq. It's a great hit, isn't it?
You know what? That was bottom of your feet touching the floor, and the next thing, the buttocks were touching the floor.
So Shaquille will come to the bench for the rest of the half with 3 personal fouls, only having taken 1 shot there in this second quarter. Francis makes them both. The Houston lead is 11. Steve Francis has 15 points and 4 assists.
That was one of my favorite things to do as a player. Instead of bone jarring pick on somebody. Just love that feeling.
Luke Walton comes in. Lakers go small. Malone with a make.
Got to go Yao here. You're going to have Karl Malone guard him. Try to get some good position down low. Malone's going to do a good job bodying him.
Look at the physical. 11 on 11 there in your paint, folks. Forget the ball. Just watch these guys. Francis calls the set play. Look at Karl working so hard, huh? They double. Taylor gets it, makes it.
When Shaq isn't in the game, the Lakers have no shot blocking presence. Karl Malone's a very good defender, but he doesn't block shots. Walton's too small to block shots.
Yao came out to challenge the catch by Malone. Karl has to fade and fire over Yao. George, you were right. This is teetering. They could get it up to 15 here at the break. Francis took it over the top.
Again, I don't like that shot. It's that fancy quick release.
Physical, body, knee in the back, right there. Going to grind you, push you out, not let you get it, and therefore forces the ball away and puts you on the weak side. Good job of defending by Karl Malone.
Karl Malone, 6'9", 260. I love when he told us last night, this guy's big. And I don't say that very often about somebody else I play. Kobe misses. He's 4 of 10. Final minute before halftime. Yao. 4 of 4 from the field, 8 points, 4 rebounds.
They got to take the ball inside the Kobe here.
Here he is, spinning on Mobley. Yao able to come over and help a little bit. Yao's been asked to be involved defensively more on Bryant in this series. Walton an air ball, shot clock off, and the fans come to their feet. Here in the Toyota Center, first time they've had a chance to enjoy the playoffs here in 5 years. And we'll let them finish the half. Jim Jackson, a 3. Halftime. Houston scored 56. They shot 56 from the field. Steve Francis led him with 15, and he's standing by with Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. 15 for Steve Francis. Steve, why have you and Cuttino Mobley come out so much more aggressive tonight and disciplined?
We knew that, LA was going to try to press up on us, so we wanted to take advantage, getting the ball inside, working back outside.
You've also been aggressive in going at Kobe and at Shaq. Will you go at Shaq immediately in the third quarter with those 3 fouls?
I think it's important for Yao to get off to a good start. He only got 6 points now, but through the next half, we're going to need him.
Can you sustain it without the mistakes that you guys have made in the past?
Well, hopefully we can, show that we matured throughout the first 2 games, like I was telling you before, and, we'll be able to come through.
Steve, thank you. Nice to talk to you.
Maybe we'll have.
Jim, thank you. Steve Francis, first 2 games, 9 turnovers, none in the first half of Game 3. Kevin Frazier and company of the Toyota Halftime Show will announce for the most improved player in the league in Game 3 of the Pacers-Celtics series. Coming up on the Toyota Halftime Show at the Toyota Center at the break. Houston trying to get a game in Game 3, leading LA.
Welcome to the Toyota Halftime Show.
Steve Francis leading the way, and for the second straight game, the Houston Rockets own a halftime lead. This time, the cushion much larger, 56-43. The rain has begun to fall back here in New York City, but We don't bring in the McDonald's NBA brackets. Take a peek at it right there, and then we come inside of the Times Square studio. As always, I'm joined by Greg Anthony and Stephen A. Smith. We will get to the guys in just a second, but we have business to take care of. And as part of the NBA's Destination Finals Awards Week, we head out to Los Angeles, where Andre Aldridge is standing by to hand out the Most Improved Player Award. Andre?
All right, thanks a lot. Good evening and welcome to Los Angeles, site of tonight's Destination Finals viewing party. Now, folks, we are here to present the NBA's Most Improved Player Award to Zach Randolph of the Portland Trail Blazers. Zach improved his play and became a team leader this season, improved the stats by 12 points and 6 rebounds per contest, which averaged a double-double for the entire season. Now, joining us to present the trophy, 6-time NBA League MVP and Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And, Captain, well, I think you've got a little hardware for Zach here.
Yes, let me give this, wearing my fingerprints out over here. So let me give it to a man who deserves it. I want to say congratulations, Zach.
Zach, you upped your production this season. You can go ahead and hold it up. I think they like to see that, huh? You improved your production this season. 20 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 2 assists. A big improvement over the previous season. What do you say the key to that was?
Just all the hard work I put in over the summer, the coaches give me a chance to play, the organization, my family, God, everybody, you know, just sticking with me, and just me putting all that hard work in, and it's just a stepping stone. So just want to continue to work hard and get better.
Captain, what do you think about Zach's improvement this season?
Well, I think one thing that we should talk about is why he made this improvement. And it has everything to do with humility. Unless you have the humility to understand that you need to improve, you're not going to go out there and do that hard work that Zach just mentioned. But he took the time, he took his summer off and made sure that he made the steps that he had to make to improve. And that's why he's picked up this little piece of hardware here.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kareem, and congratulations again, Zach Randolph, the NBA's 2004 Most Improved Player of the Year.
Andre, Zach, Kareem, thank you very much. Hey, by the way, Sunday, at the half of the Lakers-Rockets game on ABC, we will announce the first, second, and third All-NBA teams, and you can only find it on NBC during the halftime of that game. All right, let's fast break through the other game of the night. You know, Jermaine O'Neal won the Most Improved Player in 2002. Boston, Indiana, Al Harrington. It was just the bench for Indiana that was dominant.
That's what separates them from so many other teams. You got Al Harrington and Jonathan Bender providing that 1-2 punch off the bench.
And then Ron Artest, no ill effects even from that
Not
suspension.
at all, not at all. Stroking it from the three-point range, putting 15 points. And let's not forget, he put the clamps on Paul Pierce.
Yeah, Paul Pierce just 4 of 17 from the floor. There's Harrington again. The worst home playoff loss in Celtics history. That's 261 home playoff games dating back to 1948, and basically now the Pacers can put this series away. They take a commanding 3-home lead in this series, Greg.
Oh, no question about it. I expect them to put it away as well. You know what, Indiana playing so well, they have an understanding of what they need to do to be successful out on the floor, and right now you don't see this team getting rattled like they did last year. That's the experience setting in from learning from the mistakes of years past.
I couldn't agree with you more, but at the same time, the Boston Celtics are just not very good. That's just the bottom line. They have Paul Pierce, but you've made such an abundance of changes being Danny Ainge, the president of basketball operations. These guys have never had an opportunity to really gel. They never had Ray Friends this year. All of that stuff ends up getting to you, and you know it shows the effects when you're playing a great team like Indiana.
Yeah, meanwhile, congratulations once again to Zach Randolph, who was named the Most Improved Player, and Maurice Cheeks raved about how hard he worked to improve his game. So it's good to see the young fella doing well. Meanwhile, we have a lot more to talk about. Shaquille O'Neal, 11 points in the first 6 minutes, not a point since. They'll need more production if the Lakers want to get back in it.
This halftime show is presented by the all-new Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized. Welcome back to the Toyota Halftime Show.
Welcome back to Times Square. The Houston Rockets trying to battle their way back into this series against the Lakers. And one of the keys, Yao Ming and his aggression. Yao over Karl Malone. And you heard Steve Francis say they want to get Yao started quickly in the second half. Welcome back inside our Times Square studio. Let's take a peek at tomorrow's slate of NBA games on ESPN, and we'll be around for them. Kings and Mavericks, that series shifts to Dallas, where the Mavericks are an NBA best 36-5 at home during the regular season, and then we finish up with the Timberwolves and Nuggets. Kevin Garnett coming off that monster game. We're at 20-22-10. And before you watch the basketball, check out the NFL Draft presented by Coors Light. What will happen with Eli Manning? Will he go to the Chargers?
I guess we'll have to tune in and see.
A lot of folks were, and tune in to the draft. And sticking with football news in a sense, if you heard Mike mention a little bit earlier, former Arizona Cardinals safety Pat Tillman, a man who walked away from a multi-million-dollar contract to defend his country, was killed Thursday in a firefight in Afghanistan. The White House called Tillman, quote, an inspiration both on and off the football field. Pat Tillman, an American hero, dead at the age of 27.
This halftime show is presented by the all-new Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized.
Back here at the Toyota Center in Houston, half number 2. Houston trying to get game 3 of this series and extend it, leading the Lakers 56-43. With Jim Gray, Tom Tolbert, George Karl, Mike Tirico. The first half, we saw Houston do so many things, but a lot of it, George, starts with getting Yao Ming going inside.
Yeah, right now, Yao only has 8 points, which is a good half. He's 4 for 4, but he sucks into defense. 3 or 4 times in the half, the defense is surrounding him. All eyes are on him. Knockbar hits down and hits out of 3. Here he makes a nice pick. Francis gets into the crack. They have to come off the corner shooter, and I think Jimmy Jackson knocks down the 3. And then back again. He gets an out-of-bounds play, sucks into defense, kicks the ball back out. The 3-point shot has been huge for the Houston Rockets. They also are dominating the free throw line. Those are the 2 areas that actually the Lakers were dominating in the first 2 games.
And Tom, what does LA have to do?
Well, the Shaq needs to get reintroduced into the offense. He dominated early on and kind of went away from a little bit. And I don't know if he was as aggressive seeking the ball as he was early on in the first half. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, the Rockets are hitting an inordinate amount of outside shots right now. And if you go by prior track record, at some point during the game, those shots aren't going to fall. When they don't, the Lakers have to jump on them.
Let's go check in with Jim Gray. What to look ahead to in the second half. Jim?
All right, Mike, I spoke to Steve Francis. He said Jeff Van Gundy was short and sweet. He said, guys, this is a 48-minute ball game, not a 24-minute one. We haven't won anything. As for the Lakers, I spoke to Kobe Bryant. He said, this is great. I love the emotion. I don't like the position we're in, but I love the challenge. This is a lot of fun. Mike?
Kobe 4 of 10 shooting. Gary Payton 2 of 7. The Lakers are shooting a respectable playoff 44% in the first half, but Houston was great. They shot 56%, missing the first 2 of the third quarter, and Jim Jackson settles it down and goes with a set play. There you see the quick numbers and the big story, the 6 threes for Houston after 5 in the first 2 games. Shaq knocked it away from Yao. There's still 7 to go. And Mobley. Houston is open 0 for 3 here in quarter 3.
Well, maybe Houston go on a 6-0 run to start the third, and Kobe could be ecstatic.
Rick Fox holds 2 in the game, holds 7 in the series. Bryant rises up over Mobley. Steve Francis comes to get the rebound, his 5th. Remember, he had a triple-double in game 2. Francis leading scorer in this one with 15 points. This is game 3 of the best of 7 opening round Western Conference quarterfinal. Game 4 Sunday on ABC. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern. Mobley, Kobe with great defense. Rocket. First half, good start. Second half, 0 for thus far.
Yeah. Well, that one, Mike, you saw on the right wing. He didn't start going to the hoop for about 7 seconds left on the shot clock. And it just, I hate to be redundant, but it's something worth looking at when they get into their offense, when they start their offense, and how easy a shot they get from it. 2 feet in the paint right there.
As Shaq catches, misses it. Just his 2nd shot since the first quarter, and Steve Francis goes up to get the rebound. In addition to everything Steve does, there's a toughness about him that is just very enjoyable to watch. But he and the Rockets have opened ice cold and given the Lakers an opportunity to get going. 0 for 5 for Houston to start. Kobe draws him, hitting the three. Both teams unable to knock one down here. Start of the second half.
Look at more jump shots in the locker room.
He morphs back into game one.
That's 72-71. Victory for the Lakers when Kobe took the three and Shaq rebounded the air ball with a dunk.
As a coach, sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes your team forgets how they got the lead, how they got the success. I think Houston's gone away from the pick and roll, has gone away from running up and down the court with some enthusiasm. They got to get back. I mean, this game is not over. I think Van Gundy's points at halftime were very well.
And Steve Francis gets him back with a three. Both he and Cuttino Mobley are 5 of 11 from the field. Houston's hit 7 threes. Jeff, who was very quick to point out, now his brother Stan in Miami out to the 2-0 lead. They'll play game 3 tomorrow afternoon in Louisiana.
Good job by Jimmy Jackson coming out Fox right there.
Oh, beautiful find by Kobe to Shaq. It's rare to see Shaq go up for a dunk and not be able to convert it.
Well, he had two guys coming at him right there, Yao and Cato. Good job by Kobe breaking him down, drawing Yao, and then Cato just rakes him across the wrist. And a good foul.
Shaq 1 of 3 from the line thus far tonight.
He's got the new free throw, a foot behind the line. A little more arc on the shot. Same results.
Now 6 of 21 here in the series. O'Neal shot 49% from the line.
I think Nick Van Exel taught him that the 4 days he's been on.
We didn't teach him that. You know, I don't know if the analogy works here, but it's almost like when you're playing golf and you line up further right because you keep hitting it right, and then you just hit it further right. You just overcompensate.
Jackson hesitated. Other than the Francis three, the Rockets are 0 for 6. As Steve trickle the prior possession. Big lead, 60. Look at Kobe spin and twirl, and he draws the foul.
Over the years, the personality of the Lakers when they get behind is to give Kobe much more freedom, much more ability to play off the pick and roll, play isolation situations. Here he has an ice where he just spins into the teeth of the defense. Cato reaches in and fouls a tough shot right now. Both teams aren't scoring. That's definitely working to the advantage of Houston.
Remember after the Sacramento game a couple of weeks ago on ABC, they questioned Kobe not taking shots, if he was not taking shots on purpose, and then Kobe really carried this team individually the Wednesday final night of the season as he hit the shot at the end of regulation and double overtime to beat Portland, send the Lakers to the Pacific title and the 2 seed playing Houston as opposed to the 4 seed where they would be meeting Dallas in this opening round. Jeff Van Gundy said it's kind of laughable. I don't know what people are talking about as Yao hits over Shaq to extend the lead back out to 16. Yao Ming 5 of 6 from the field. Jeff Van Gundy said, I don't know, these people who are critical of Kobe. I see a guy who is a great player, who is ultra competitive. O'Neal the putback off the Gary Payton miss.
He was extremely complimentary of Kobe's greatness. He compared them to Michael Jordan's spirit and will to compete and to deliver victory.
Out of bounds as Yao tried to get to Cuttino Mobley. It will be Laker ball, and let's visit with Jim Gray.
Mike, you guys are exactly right. The exact quote from Jeff was, he has a spirit and a will to win that's unmatched. I see a dominance. He's a competitor that's unsurpassed, the likes of Michael Jordan. I don't see what the problem is. Of course, I don't see what his coaches and his teammates see every day, but to me, it's all a bunch of junk.
Kobe showed it carrying the team with 36 in game 2. Payton got there, but Cato beat him to the spot. Kelvin Cato out of foul trouble. A good interior presence with Yao on the defensive end. Steve Francis, the jump ball call as he was trying to get to the cup.
What you have for Houston right now is everybody's playing their role at a very high level. They got knockbars coming in, scored points. Cato's giving them a defensive presence. They started Cato on Shaq early in the game, even though Shaq was dominant. It kept Yao from getting in foul trouble. Yao sucked into defense and gotten the ball out to the perimeter. Francis having a great game from the point.
Rick Fox, 4-inch size advantage as he jumps with Steve Francis. Payton comes away with it. deflected out of bounds. Boy, Gary Payton so important here in this third quarter. He's 2 of 10 shooting. He has certainly been unhappy. I mentioned before, he sat on the bench the whole fourth quarter. He had 6 points in game 2. And George, we watched the game this afternoon. They were all in the first quarter.
Yeah, he got all his points in the first quarter. After the game, he was very angry, had some words with Mitch Kupchak after the game. But in a lot of ways, his competitive nature is stimulated by his anger. I had him in Seattle. A lot of nights he was angry, and he used it to stimulate himself to get involved in a basketball game.
Yao, one-on-one with Shaq, goes to the hook, missed it, and here comes Payton as the Lakers will try to get it down to 10 or 9. Houston not letting LA get anything easy in transition tonight. Oh, O'Neal knocks down Cato, throws it down, and the Rockets are going to take a timeout here as the Lakers have taken a 16-point lead down to 10.
Cato's got to watch D-Bots. You got to throw the head back more. Throw the head back and yell when you get that call.
Shaquille O'Neal's third dunk. No fall for the flop. Lakers getting closer.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Adidas. Impossible is nothing. Wendy's new Chicken Temptations. It's better here. And Miller. Vote Miller for president of beers. Good call.
Welcome back to Houston. I'm Jim Gray. The Lakers trail by 10 here in Houston. I'm now joined by Al Michaels and Doc Rivers. They'll call Sunday's game on ABC. Al, what's your assessment of what's going on here tonight?
You know, the Lakers season, as you know very well, Jim, has been so crazy. They're the most unpredictable team imaginable. They've been unbelievably inconsistent. So they come in here and everybody thinks they're going to sweep, and all of a sudden they have their hands full, and then some 10 points down toward the end of the third quarter. I have no idea with this team. Neither do you, Jim. Neither does Phil Jackson. Neither does anybody else.
You've covered a lot of sports. Have you ever seen anything quite like this, where it's a soap opera from day to day, and the consistency of the play is day to day too?
I must say, over an 82-game season, it's amazing to me because there's a tremendous story every day. It's been called a soap opera. It's a lot more than that, I think. I've never seen a team go through a season under a microscope like this one has.
Let's bring Doc Rivers in. Doc, Lakers only 10 down with everything that's gone wrong here tonight. What's your assessment? Do you think they can still win this game?
Well, they can still win the game, but they have to get Shaq involved, obviously. I think he's playing cautious because of the 3 fouls, and I think you'll see a little bit more Shaq the rest of the way. You have to.
Do you see this as a series, or do you still see this as the Lakers, like everybody else, seemingly getting through this?
I think it's a series. You know, all the Lakers have done is won at home, and now it's the Rockets' chance. So if the Rockets can win this game, then it's back to just a normal square series.
Gentlemen, thank you. We'll let you get back and watch the game. We'll look forward to you on ABC at 3:30 Eastern time on Sunday. Back to you, Mike.
All right, Jim, great to see the guys down here enjoying the game on Friday night.
They get paid for that? Was that an appearance?
I want to know what golf course they're playing tomorrow.
You guys are bad. You guys are bad. Well, there
We didn't get to play golf.
Start time will be in Times Square for GMC NBA Hang Time as our coverage begins at 3 Eastern. On TNT tomorrow, it's Game 3 as the scene shifts to New Orleans and Milwaukee. The Heat trying to go up 3-0. The winner of the Detroit-Milwaukee game will have a 2-1 edge in that best-of-7 Eastern Conference quarterfinal. 1 of 2 at the line. The foul was on Karl Malone, his second. Halfway through the third, Houston leads by 11. They've led by as many as 16. That's what Doc talked about. Shaq going right at it. But the difference is the guy's so big, and Yao, who was tripped up by his teammate Kelvin Cato, makes it so much tougher for O'Neal inside. Mobley with the miss, and the Rockets have gone ice cold here in the third.
There's only the Rockets can do. And the Rockets, you knew at some point during the game this was going to happen. Rarely will they catch fire and stay on fire for 48.
Kobe Bryant gets it to single digits, a 9-point Houston lead. Remember, it was 56-43 after 3. It was deflected, so Jim Jackson could have come into the backcourt to get it. Karl Malone switches. Catch by Yao, but you see O'Neal forced him away from the basket. Francis got up high, but Kobe takes the board away. And now Houston's 2 of 12 in the quarter is going to start to affect them.
You get the feeling in just watching this quarter, the Lakers have run with the defense, but the Rockets have kind of pulled their horns back in a little bit.
Payton up top, hits a three. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-point lead, an 11-1 Laker run.
Gary Payton is not a very good three-point shooter, but he has a knack of making a shot when it's important.
Mobley used the little window as his quickness was able to get by O'Neal. And hit a very important shot for Jeff Van Gundy's team.
You look it over at Jeff Van Gundy, too, and he wants more pressure. He wants more intensity. He wants to get the ball to the court a little bit quicker and get back into the flow.
He wants to win it before the end of the game.
Francis slapped it away. Malone with 8 to shoot, takes it. Rebound Francis. Jeffers yelling, hit the play ball. Go play. Mobley free. Three.
Yep.
Timeout, LA. Houston having a very poor quarter. The Lakers climb close and bang bang, a 2, and then the 8th 3 of the night for the Rockets. Cuttino Mobley hits it. Exhale in Houston. Your Rockets are back up 11.
Tonight on SportsCenter, did A-Rod continue his Fenway flop in New York? Chargers on the clock as Eli Stiller Manning, a tribute to a man who gave up football, gave his life for his country. SportsCenter after the game on ESPN.
This is the 2004 NBA Playoffs on ESPN.
Back in Houston, where the Rockets have weathered a cold shooting start to the third, have re-extended the lead to 11. Time for tonight's playoff edition of the Sprite Mad
Skills. Oh, look at that move right there. It's been Mobley and Francis, 36 to the Rockets, 67. And tonight, just kind of letting their basketball instincts take over. Taking it, penetrating, getting to the rack, just playing basketball. Getting their offense a little earlier. Nice pass right there by Mobley to Francis, seeing up to 3. I didn't really work all that well, to be honest with you, but it was your Sprite Man skills.
5 threes for these two, 8 threes for the Rockets as a team. The Rockets have outscored LA by 18 from behind the arc tonight. A huge reason they're up 11, Coach.
I just really think right now Francis and Mobley's play, just playing basketball, just creating the game by pushing it up the floor, penetrating in the cracks, going to the offensive board, playing in transition, has given the confidence back to the Houston Rockets.
There you see the number. What a stark difference. And again, it's a Rocket team that needs it. Payton trying to post up on Francis. Steve not afraid to be physical with Gary. To Malone. How many times has he made that shot in his life?
And I think also, while we're on the subject and we're giving kudos to Francis and Mobley for their offense, Mobley's done a nice job on Kobe tonight, too. He's done a nice job staying in front of him. And while Kobe, has 12 or 15 points and still in the third, he's made him work for everything.
Steve split the double team, got kicked in the head. Malone is down and shaken up behind the play. This is a 3-on-4 for the Lakers. Now Shaq joins the play. The rebound taken by Kelvin Cato. Malone is hobbling, and Payton takes it away on the offensive end. Bryant, unsettled, missed everything with the three. Francis back in there. Karl is still hobbling. He's got Yao defensively. And Jim Jackson gets it back to 11. Remember, as Karl Malone tries to go through the pain here, no Slava Medvedenko for LA. He is not in uniform tonight, so LA is thin with their big men.
They only have one big guy. If Karl can't play, it's Shaq. That's it.
Karl Malone, who had his half season with the knee injury, shows no ill effects there as he makes it. He's grabbing up by his left thigh. Of course, in the end of the regular season, in the first quarter of the finale up in Portland, he turned that right ankle, but was able to come back for game 1 of the playoffs last Saturday. Francis a three.
I would go back to that. I think with Karl a little wobbly right now, he didn't want to step up on that pick and roll. And Steve Francis, if you set the pick a little lower, you can get a closer jump shot.
Good spin by Payton. And the foul is called on Steve, who had a hand on the hip of Gary Payton as he made the spin.
You can see the penetration right there. Malone kind of trips him up. And it looks like the knee and head collide is what happened. Francis' head and Malone's knee. If you can see it right here, trips him up, gets hit, and watch his head as he falls back right to the side of his right knee, it looks like.
It's close. That was close to being a serious injury right there.
It's Rick Fox who goes to the bench, and Malone staying in as Devin George comes in off the Laker bench. A physical specimen at age 40, Karl Malone. He's chiseled and cut as any athlete you see at this age with this much mileage on him. O'Neal inside, draws the foul, so LA trying to be more aggressive here. They have drawn 5 fouls on the Rockets here in the third quarter, and LA's only been whistled for 1. Yao comes back to the bench, 10 points and 7 boards. As Shaq goes to the line, 1 of 5 tonight. Here's Jim.
Mike, you and George were talking about the relationship and the words that were exchanged between Mitch Kupchak and Gary Payton. Actually, it was Gary Payton who had all the words, and Mitch Kupchak just listened at the end of the game the other day. Basically, what he said is he didn't come here not to play, and he wanted to play. Mitch Kupchak, who was here tonight, we asked him if we would talk about this. He said no, he didn't want to comment on it, that he felt it was a personal, private conversation between the two of them, and he didn't want to get into a private conversation of his players and make it public. Mike?
Shaq 1 of 7 from the line. That's out of bounds off the Lakers. Well, I mean, just add to everything. And Al and Doc were referring to the soap opera. Shaq and Phil in the preseason when we were out in Las Vegas. That was the story. Shaq and Kobe's oft-times chilly relations. Karl Malone's knee, Shaquille's calf injury, Kobe's shoulder, his finger, the legal proceedings. Payton unhappy with his minutes. Phil Jackson's contract talk. Dr. Buff saying Kobe can have a max deal. Jim Jackson hitting threes. The Lakers have had to weather everything this year. Still they lead 2-0 in the series, but Houston is 13 minutes away from making this a long series, perhaps. They've done a good job of doubling Kobe, and he's forced to take a timeout.
Timeout, Los Angeles.
So many of the small things that happen in a series, the double team on Bryant has been effective tonight, has forced LA out of their offense in key moments. Laker timeout. Houston leading here by 12. As we mentioned at the start, it's been 1,804 days, nearly 5 years since the last playoff game in Houston, and it was the Lakers at Houston. Charles Barkley going up on J.R. Reed there. Barkley had 20 to lead Houston in Game 4 of the opening round Western Conference Series, which at that time was a best-of-5. But it wasn't enough. Shaquille at 37. The Rockets eliminated 3-1. Saw Cuttino Mobley in those highlights as Kobe swooped in for a miss that Shaq put back. Mobley is the only Rocket still on the Houston roster. A team coached by Rudy Tomjanovich with Scottie Pippen and Hakeem Olajuwon. As you look at how the Lakers
on fire that game, huh? He was rolling 6 for 23. Ouch.
Scottie was hot.
That in '99, Charles played the 20 games in 2000 and the end of his stay with the Rockets. There's Cuttino Mobley, the one holdover, still 7 of 15 here from the field. And Mobley was a rookie then and has talked about how he and Steve Francis have had to grow up together without veterans. And the addition of the guys like Mark and Jim Jackson this year have been so important to them. Malone took it right at Cato. Devin George crashed the glass and got the 2. And Kelvin Cato shaken up. He's hobbling on a right leg now. Welcome to the playoffs. Last one standing. Mobley backed in on Kobe. Good defense from Bryant.
Tough one. Well, he hasn't given him the pump fake and gone up and under. The post moves have all been to the middle for Kobe to judge it.
Rimmed out a 3 that was dead on line. Cato continuing to lumber up the floor. Houston doesn't want to take its time out, try to get through the final 24 seconds of this third quarter. Maurice Taylor in the game. As Yao is out, he'll come back in. Good shake by Taylor, and the 2.
He's been a big part of the Houston success this year. His scoring off the bench has won many games for him. He struggled in his first 2 games with foul trouble and not being very effective.
The double.
Good night tonight.
They won't let Kobe take the last shot. Offensive foul called on Derek Fisher. Steve Francis drew it. So Cato comes off as Yao comes in. And the busy Rockets medical staff will look at the right leg of Taylor. Cato rather. Francis will just hold on to it and send it to the 4th quarter. The Rockets have done everything to be in position. But now a team that hasn't done it before has to close out a playoff game. The crew of Francis and Mobley and Yao up 12, trying to get game 1 and make the best of 7.
Welcome back to 20th Century Fox's presentation of ESPN's Play Like There's No Tomorrow.
Welcome back to Houston. I'm Jim Gray as we get ready for the 4th quarter. Rockets lead by 12. There you see Kelvin Cato walking off under his own power. He hurt his right ankle. 4 points, 6 rebounds, an important part of the Rockets at forward. Here's the play. He comes down awkwardly, immediately goes to the right ankle. Just spoke to Keith Jones as you see Cato limping. He is back in the locker room right now being retaped, and Mike, he will return to the game very shortly.
Okay, Jim, there is Keith, who has been very busy, as has his opposite number, Gary Vitti, on the Laker bench. Jim reporting during the timeout as well that Karl Malone retweaked his right knee. Malone starts on the bench. It's a key stretch for L.A. There's Gary Vitti, the Lakers athletic trainer. L.A. shot 8 of 20 in the 3rd quarter. Houston 7 of 20. And right now you have 3 of the big 4 on the bench. It's Fisher, Walton, Rush, Devin George with Shaquille O'Neal to start the 4th.
I think it's a dangerous time for the Rockets. I think when you see those guys on the bench, you have a tendency to let up a little bit and don't take them quite as seriously. And the way these guys are playing, a lot of it's their first playoff game, and for Houston it's been 5 years, and you wouldn't know by the way they've been playing today, except for between periods when they crowded the wave. Are you kidding me?
Walton, a 3 to start the 4th. O'Neal goes up and gets it. Steve Francis, I think he's going to pick up the foul.
Tom, I hate to differ with you because Phil Jackson takes a lot of chances with the situation. We do that. I think Houston right now regrouped in the last 2 minutes of the 3rd quarter, got the lead back up to a 12-point lead. They only lost the 3rd quarter by 1 point, and they probably got outplayed in that quarter. And I just think the momentum is on the verge of swinging back to Houston. You got Yao back in the game. Francis having a great game. And you got to talk about Jimmy Jackson. What a great year a guy had. I was playing golf with Jimmy Jackson like the first week in September. And he hadn't had a job yet. He thought he was going to go to Minnesota. He gets a call about the 2nd week in September to go to Houston. The Eddie Griffin story goes out the window. He becomes a starter, plays the most minutes he's ever played in his career. For a coach who now they have mutual respect for one another, and he's basically become a very important veteran, teaching some young guys how to win in the NBA.
Jeff Van Gundy has said Jim Jackson may have been the most consistent player they had all year. Shaq 1 of 2 at the line, 2 of 9 on the night. It is Houston ball.
And I know it's been talked about a lot, but Shaq's free throw shooting is very dangerous right now to the Los Angeles Lakers. Psychologically, even though point-wise it matters on your scoreboard, but it does a tremendous head game into your mind in games where you have to come back like this. And
you see the story in this series. Wow. 7 of 26 from the line.
I've never really thought it affected him, to be honest. I think he just shoots him, and whether he makes it or misses it, he goes on to the next one.
I'm saying the effect he has on the team.
Oh, Yao from 22. That's why people talk about him being potentially special at 7'6", the range to step out and make that shot. More physical with his defense. Fisher behind the line. That's 3. This group, Fisher, Rush, Walton, did a great job of outside shooting the Lakers to extend the margin in Game 2 at Staples. They try to close a 10-point gap. 11 minutes left before SportsCenter.
That was at home. They're on the road now.
Maurice Taylor. Backs on Luke. Got close. Got 2. Mo Taylor's 6'9", Luke Walton's 6'8", but it's a matured, muscular 6'9".
Yeah, it's the body mass that's the problem.
Walton tries to return the favor with speed and the spin. Devin George is fouled by Boston Nakbar. And although Houston isn't in a lot of individual foul trouble, be careful that they get into a bonus situation early as they did in the last quarter. 2 team fouls on the Rockets, 1 on LA.
Well, you know what will happen now with the lineup the Lakers have on the court. They're not going to forget about Shaq. Shaq's going to get the ball. Shaq's going to be the focal point. And it's all about these other guys just spotting up, getting open.
Yao and Shaq battling inside. The space for Fisher, who draws the foul. It was almost parallel to the ground when he released it, trying to draw the contact, and they did on Yao. 3 on the second-year center.
Well, maybe instead of drafting Gallery second pick overall tomorrow, they'd have drafted Shaq. Look at that road grader. He just cleared the way for him. He had Shaq on his back. He moved him out, and that's the reason Derek Fisher got to the rim and got fouled. I like that Shaq playing offensive tackle for you. Holy cow.
For those not following the NFL draft, I'm talking about the offensive tackle from Iowa. #1 on some people's draft boards. 1 more coming for Derek Fisher.
Uh-oh.
How'd the floor feel on this?
Oh, look out. Hey, now. Oh. Where'd he go? He flew. Oh, look at the, I just call that the buttocks cam. That's all that is.
That's what you call it on air. You call it something else off air. Even though it's cable and it's almost midnight in the East, your kids are still awake out west.
I was just using proper medical terminology.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Tom. Francis finds Nakbar, hit a 3 in the first half. Second-year man from Slovenia. Couldn't hit one here. The Lakers can get it down to 8 or 7. Good move by Walton to rush. Triples. And it's 7. Kareem Rush.
That guy's building a career.
2 threes tonight. 6 of 8 shooting threes in the first 3 games of this series.
Does he know he's in the playoffs?
He's just feeling good right now.
Jim Jackson tries to go at him, draws a lot of defensive help. Yao got it over Devin George, got the basket, and a foul. And Phil Jackson says, how on this planet was that not over the back on Yao?
All right. I think it's a good call.
Yeah.
I think it's straight up. Both bodies are very straight up. Yao's just too big.
The foul on Shaq was his 4th. And Yao, an 81% free throw shooter and 7 of 9 in the first 2 games in this series, comes in. Quick check with Jim Gray.
Hey, Mike, it's kind of an interesting thing. A lot of times you'll see Yao turn his head when one of his teammates is talking to him, and he'll turn away from him. A lot of people have misinterpreted that he didn't understand the language. What it is he is deaf, Mike, in his left ear. He cannot hear at all out of his left ear, and he is struggling to hear over the crowd in many instances. Mike?
It's very interesting, Jim. He does have a translator, as many people know, around all the time, but Yao's English is excellent. I had a 15-minute conversation with Yao the other day, and there were 2 words that he... Oh, that off the Lakers? Yes, it is. Nobody went to get the ball. The Laker bench says it didn't hit out of bounds, but that's the call from the sideline. To finish the thought, I had a 15-minute chat with Yao as you look at his parents, both well over 6 feet. His mom, a player for the Chinese national women's team. Phil Jackson having an animated conversation about the out-of-bounds call. Mike Callahan, a piece of his mind. Anyway, in 15 minutes, Yao needed help from the translator for 2 words in English. He truly has a grasp of the language, and you'll hear him speaking more in English, I would guess, next year. He just doesn't want to make a mistake not knowing the right word at the right time. Maurice Taylor hit the right shot at the right time. Houston plus 11 as we come to 9 minutes in the 4th. Walton tried the give and go. George didn't catch it, but it ended up in the hands of O'Neal. And will this foul be Taylor or Yao? It's Mo Taylor with the foul. He has 3. Yao's parents watching another battle with Shaquille O'Neal.
You know, when he shoots it, it looks like, you know when you spin a globe? Watch the ball. It looks like he's spinning a globe when he shoots the ball. Tell me that didn't look like globe spin. It looks exactly like globe spin.
It did. It did. I'm just concerned how you got to that, but
it's obvious.
I know. Well, not many people sit in their house and study the spin of their globe.
Well, they should.
Okay. Mark Jackson in the game gives Steve Francis a couple of minutes here. Mobley has rush. Will he try baseline?
Now he's going middle.
The help came from Walton and George.
And everybody knew it.
Yep. Lakers within 9. Remember, this all happening with Payton and Kobe and Karl Malone on the bench. That's a foul on Yao. That's 4 on him and 4 on the Rockets here early in this fourth.
That's team foul number 5.
5, you're right, George, you're right. So the Lakers will shoot free throws the rest of the way. The lead is 9, but LA's guns are getting rested and ready for a run.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by The Day After Tomorrow, in theaters May 28th, and Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
Back with George Karl, Tom Tolbert, and Jim Gray here in Houston. Mike Tirico, game 3 of the best of 7. Houston down 2-0 in the series, leading here by 9. Shaquille O'Neal heading back to the free throw line, where it is has been a struggle here throughout this season, under 50%.
Well, you look at the rotation of the ball right here. It comes out and it starts sliding, almost like a curveball, the rotation that it has on it. And I think his hands are so big that sometimes guys with huge hands having a tough time getting touch on the ball, and you can't get it to come out like a normal shooter would get it to come out with that excellent backspin. The one guy I've always looked at when you want to look at great backspin, Reggie Miller, and he has great rotation on his shot.
He also looks at the ball as it goes to the rim, which is a very bad habit of shooters. You know, you concentrate on the rim, you should keep your eyes on the rim. There have been some shooters who look at the ball on release, but most shooters look at the rim, keep their eyes on the rim. His eyes go right to the ball on release.
So magnified with a big man, obviously. You go back to Wilt, a 51.1% shooter his career. Russell was there, 59. Shaq's at 54% in his career from the field. Went 1 of 2 there. The lead is 8. Mark Jackson in the game for Houston with Nakbar, Mobley, Taylor, and Yao. Mark Jackson, who hasn't scored in this series, missed a 3. Kobe and Karl are back in for the Lakers, who are only down 8.
Well, Phil's got to be happy because with Kobe, Karl, and Gary Payton still out, they cut the lead 4 points. They went from 12 to 8 points.
Gary didn't play the fourth quarter last time. It'll be interesting to see when and if he comes back. Shaq catching deep in the paint, turns on Yao, and it's a 6-point game.
He's starting to get great position again. He's being very aggressive, and he opens his body up, shows the hands. That means I want it, and I want it now.
It's a nice target.
Yeah, monster.
Taylor up top, quick trigger 2. 70-year Michigan man who missed all of 2002 with a torn Achilles tendon. Set out for 538 days between NBA games. He worked himself back into shape last year and has had a very productive season. Taylor's hit his last 5. Kareem Rush got to the cup but couldn't finish.
Too close.
Francis waiting to check in along with Jim Jackson. Taylor has Malone, who tweaked his right knee earlier in the half. Jackson faked it, took the 2. Can't get a shot to go down. Comes Kobe, 5 of 14 tonight, 15 points. Ready to heat up here in the fourth, but good defense by Mobley. Kobe wanted the foul. Mobley beats him on the other end. Hit the surface shot. What a play by Mobley.
I think Mobley got away with a little tick on the elbow there on Kobe, and then while Kobe was complaining to the referee, Mobley leaked out. Look out.
That time Taylor comes in defensively to guard Shaq, and Shaq with the deep catch, the finish, and a chance for the 3-point play.
Well, I think he may have got him on the elbow, but while Kobe was talking to the official, Mobley ran down the court and beat everybody down the court and still made one spectacular shot to get that one to go home.
I really think if he got him very lightly.
Well, You know what, though, with a shooter, though, if you get him lightly, that can affect your shot. And while it doesn't look like much, it still should be a foul.
Shaq unable to convert the three-point play. He has 23 points, 5 of 14 from the line. Really a turnover, but it was deflected by Fisher. Francis back in, draws some D. Nice find of Taylor by Yao. Here comes Kobe. He's ready to go, looking for some purple shirts to come with him. The lead is 8. Halfway through the fourth. The double again. We find the open man. It's Rush. It's 3. Karl Malone the rebound. Rockets skating backwards. They look like retreating defensemen in hockey overtime. Kobe trying to lose Jim Jackson. He's missed 3 shots in a row. Only 1 field goal make for Bryant this half. Jeff Van Gundy comes down to get a timeout called. And now he gets it. As Houston was feeding the post. The Rockets will have it with 5.5 to go here in the fourth quarter. Leading 86-78. Trying to get their first one in this best of 7.
Kevin Frazier in the studio. Time for our Wendy's Plays of the Night, and there was only one other story in the association. The Pacers and Celtics Game 3. Complete domination by the Pacers as they take a 3-0 series lead. They get 58 points from their bench. The bench outscored Boston starters 108-85 the final score. Mike?
Back here in Houston, Rockets lead by 8. Reminder that the playoffs continue all weekend on ABC and ESPN. On ESPN Sunday, the Pacers-Celtics as the Pacers go to close it out. Leading 3-0, that game available on ESPN HD. Brett Musburger, Bill Raftery, Doris Burke will bring that one to you at 1 Eastern. And then who saw Al Michaels and Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya will join them for Game 4, Lakers-Rockets. Our coverage begins with GMC NBA Hang Time from Times Square at 3 Eastern on ABC. If you're just tuning in, just coming in from a night out, it was a 108-85 win for Indiana. The worst playoff loss at home for the Celtics in their history. Half the points were scored by the Pacer bench as Indy comfortably up 3-0. 2 to shoot for Maurice Taylor. He chased down the rebound, got it back, and got the 2. Wow.
Big hoop. Big hoop.
Back up 10 as we approach 5 minutes. Payton stays on the bench. Malone gets Taylor in the air, tries to return the favor on this end. Karl Malone is 18. The Lakers led by O'Neal with 23. Kobe has 15. And the 2 stats people always want to know. Bryant 5 of 16 from the field. Shaq 5 of 14 from the line. Steve Francis all on his own. Came right out to Jim Jackson. Will back it out.
Twice now they got 2 stops. It's giving up 2 offensive rebounds. When you're trailing, you can't give extra possessions.
Houston out rebounding LA by 7 here tonight. Taylor asks for the foul. Now tries to earn it himself. Yao's got to be careful. He has 4 personals. So does Shaquille O'Neal. Couple of quick hits, and this is going to be a tight game. O'Neal off the window. He has 25 points.
I don't think he called that.
I think he did.
I think he did. I don't think he called that. No one goes bank. No one goes banking straight away unless you're playing pop-up shot. Period.
Remember, no Kelvin Cato to help out defensively for Houston. Went out with the ankle injury earlier. We'll see if he comes back. And Yao inside. Yao 8 of 11 from the field, 16 points, 10 rebounds. It's back to Shaq. No foul call. O'Neal knocked to the deck. And Rush goes down as well. It's 5-on-3 this way. Who's open? Mobley takes it. Karl Malone on the glass. Phil Jackson asking for fouls on both ends. Jim Jackson almost took it away. Kobe to Karl. Malone. Bryant the rebound. Shaq knocked down Yao. The foul is going on Houston, though.
It was funny because I was watching Karl and Kobe on the rebound. I didn't see if Shaq grabbed him or Yao was slipping and falling down.
Foul on Mo Taylor, his fifth.
Let's see what happens. Keep your eye on Shaq and Yao right here down low. I think that's a no call. That's a good no call. But that was the reason Kobe got the rebound and easily made it to the rim.
As the game goes on, the defense has a funny way of taking control because of repetition, because of familiarity. The defense seems to be more in control of their opponent. That's happening right now in the game.
Kobe 1 of 6 from the field here in this half. He has 5 points. You can get an all-access look at the playoffs throughout the playoffs. Tune into the NBA TV playoff show Destination Finals every weeknight on NBA TV. As all these games lead towards the NBA Finals exclusively on ABC starting the first week in June. Gary Payton sat the entire fourth quarter game 2. He's been on the bench all of this game 3 here in the fourth quarter. And he can't stand it. He is stewing like you would not believe inside, I'm sure.
I think a lot of it comes down to the personality that Phil wants on the court. When you're behind, he likes the three-point shooters on the court, and Rush has been having a very good game, as has Fisher from the three-point line.
Kobe makes them both. 6-point game. 3 minutes left here in game 3. Fisher picking up with the defense on Francis. Kareem Rush guards Cuttino Mobley. Mobley tried to get right at the cup. Could not get it to go.
Someone hit the board, rattled the board. I actually thought it had an effect on the ball.
Again, the double on Bryant. Rush, Malone, short. Rush was free on this side. Fisher in the corner. Lakers just couldn't rotate it over there. 2.5 to go. Francis, tricky dribble. Trapped inside and turned it over, and he took a shot on his right elbow. His left elbow is the one that's been bothering him. Kobe. Oh, how'd he hit it? I thought Cato was holding him around the waist. 4-point game, 2 minutes left. The ice is getting slippery.
You got to try to get the ball down to Yao and then spot up. See if you can let him take Shaq. You can't.
Yao took his time, made the hoop. And I think we have an injury with one of the officials in addition to the technical fouls that are called. And the whooping behind the play. Eddie F. Rush may have been hurt. As we had the chat. Emotions getting high. Yao got hit in the face to start it all. And a double technical foul is called. There's Yao with the hoop. And there, as the arms were locked with Fisher and Francis, Yao took the shot in the face. It is Fisher and Francis who are called for the technicals. We have a timeout with 1:51 to go.
Tonight on SportsCenter, did A-Rod continue his Fenway flop in New York? Chargers on the clock as Eli Stiller Manning, a tribute to a man who gave up football, gave his life for his country. SportsCenter after the game on ESPN.
As you look at the score by quarter, most potent scoring quarter for LA, you also see Eddie F. Rush talking to James Capers. Eddie F. Rush injured his calf, and he worked with Keith Taylor. I don't think he's going to be able to go here as they were taping him up. They're wrapping him up. Of course, the NBA a while ago had games with 2 officials. They went to the 3rd official for experimental purposes for 1 year in 1979, discontinued it, and it's been 3 officials since 1989, but they're going to have to go with 2 the rest of the way. Here's Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, I talked to Ed Rush during that timeout. When he came in to separate the guys on the technical foul, he said he felt his calf just pull. Didn't know if it was torn or not. Keith Jones looked at it. They taped him up. He came out here, took 2 steps, and said, I can't go. I can't continue. So, as you say, they'll now go with the 2 officials.
And again, this has been a 3-official league for 15 years now, but it's something the league reviews with the officials, the positioning when you're in a situation like this with 2 officials. We don't have alternates until we get down to the finals and the conference finals, but they'll go 2 officials here the rest of the way in a tough spot because this has become a tough game to officiate in the last 3 minutes.
Does that mean we're going to 4 officials in 15 years?
No, it does not. 1:51 left. Where do the Lakers have to go, guys? Down 6 with the ball.
Well,
Kobe or Shaq?
Yeah, I think you go to Shaq, but you got to be careful if you're the Lakers. If you go to Shaq or Kareem Rush
for a 3, couldn't get it. And Francis comes away with the rebound.
That was a design play to go for Rush out of the timeout. I mean, that's great. Phil Jackson gives Rush a lot of credit to go to him in that situation.
Very hot with the threes throughout this series. He's missed his last two. A big hoop here could come from Yao from the outside. Payton snatched it. Whoa. Remember, he injured his ankle. O'Neal back on the other end started leaking out offensively. Karl Malone fouls Yao, who was shaken up. Yao took a shot in the back from Karl Malone. Welcome to the playoffs, Yao.
I know he's not an angry man by nature, but they may get him there.
And to add to the pain, LA had a foul to give.
Oh, I mean, that's WWF quality right there. Look at that. That's a nice forearm shiver right to the lower back.
It's a big forearm shiver, too.
Got popped in the face 30 seconds ago, got drilled in the back.
Isn't it amazing in the NBA, our two most buffed athletes are our oldest athletes in the league, Karl Malone and Kevin Willis?
Yeah, that they are.
Karl Malone is 40, Willis pushing 42. Remember, the winner of this series gets, in all likelihood, Willis and the Spurs, who are up 3-0 on Memphis, and they'll try to go close out that series on Sunday night. And all the more importance for LA if they hope to get to the second round. They might find a rested and talented San Antonio team. It's still a lot to do here in this game. Houston trying to make it a series.
Got to get it to Yao with Malone guarding him.
Francis inside. He made it to the ball.
Great hesitation, goes by him, takes the bump by Shaq, finishes the play to the rim. Today with Van Gundy, we talked about a belief. Houston right now is finding that they can believe. They can believe that they can beat this team. The first two games, they didn't have it. They didn't know how to beat the Lakers the first two games. This is a very important game for the Houston Rockets.
Francis missed the free throw, down 8. Kobe takes the 3. He missed it. Rebound for Jim Jackson. It's been a very quiet half for Kobe Bryant, who's just 6 of 18 in the game. 2 of 8 here in the second half. And the Lakers could be out of this one. Francis, the show and go, took it and Shaq. Did he do it again? He did! Yao. Look at Yao.
This is just great skill. Goes in, gets hit by 360 pounds.
Wow.
Spins it off the glass.
Well, that's a response to the one Kobe made in game 2 of this series, although at a higher degree of difficulty, I think.
I think he had one of those in game 1.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing body control.
Laker timeout. The Rockets on their way to getting their first playoff win in 5 years. And getting the juice back in Houston. It's his first playoff series. There's a lot to prove for a guy who started in the All-Star game the last couple of years. Steve Francis answering the bell in clutch time in Clutch City.
Linda Cohn, John Anderson, Sports Center coming up in moments with tragic news. Former Arizona Cardinal Pat Tillman killed in combat in Afghanistan.
We'll have a comprehensive look at his life and our loss reaction from everywhere from teammates to the White House. Now back to Mike in Houston.
John and Linda, thank you. See you at the Sports Center here in a little bit. Diametric opposite to this sports weekend. Houston here on its way to a victory in Game 3. Let's set the lineup here for the weekend. TNT has the first 2 games tomorrow. Miami, New Orleans at 1 Eastern. Detroit, Milwaukee will break the 1-1 tie in their series at 3:30 Eastern. Remember, Sunday here on ABC, or on ABC, excuse me. It's Game 4 of the series with coverage beginning at 3 Eastern time. Steve Francis. Remember the migraine problems he had a few years ago? Labeled with the tag Stevie Franchise. Trying to kind of carry a team on his own. Everybody said, can he coexist with Yao? Oh, what a fourth quarter he's had trying to get the first playoff win in his 5-year career. Brian Cook has come in the game along with Luke Walton. Shaq is out. Kobe, 2 of 9 here in the second half. Mobley across midcourt. And the foul from L.A.
Oh, if you're Houston, you got to be loving it right now. You have game one. You won your first playoff game of this series. You're one game away from squaring things up and putting the pressure right back on the Lakers. Because now it doesn't go 2-2. It goes game 5 would be 1 at the Lakers. Game 6 would be at Houston. Game 7 would be at LA. So if you can win 2 here at home, now the Lakers have that pressure winning game 5. Because if they don't, you come back here.
Mobley has one more. It's what we said at during halftime of the Indiana-Boston game. It's either one of two things. Houston's got to be thinking, we can't win 4 out of 5 against L.A., but they should be thinking, hey, we haven't had a chance to hold home court yet. And if they can hold it here, then all Van Gundy's team has to do is get one of the 2 in L.A.
Well, when the series is equal, it's usually the theory that the series doesn't begin until you win on an opponent's court. No one's done that yet. And if the series is equal, it'll be a while, and that'll determine the outcome of the series.
Kobe all the way, able to get that hoop. That ends a 9-0 Houston run. With 2:10 left, this was a 90-86 game. Steve Francis putting on a dribbling show here and is fouled by Kobe Bryant. All right, George, Tom, look ahead to game 4 for me. Have you seen enough in Houston to believe that they can even this series on ABC on Sunday?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I think in every series, teams learn something. Tonight, there's no question the Houston Rockets learned the pick and roll can be effective. They have confidence here making the 3. And can they continue to keep the tempo a little faster than they had the first 2 games?
That's the question I have. Can you continue to make the 3-pointer as you made tonight? That was a big factor in them winning the game. Not only making the 3, but that opens up a lot of stuff that they were doing in their offense. So, yeah, I believe they can. I mean, it wasn't like, George hit on it earlier, that they played them tough for the first 7 quarters of this series. They're going to win this game. I believe they can win game 4.
Fisher knocks down his 3. It is a 9-point game. Houston hit 5 3-pointers, 5 of 22 in the first couple of games, but they are 9 of 16 behind the line tonight. The foul by Fisher with 8.7 to go turns into 2 free throws for Steve Francis.
That's enough. Come on. Foul with 9 seconds left.
The way I see the game right now is Francis and Yao. Can they play a balanced game against Shaq and Kobe? If they can do that, which basically I think they've done. Kobe had a great game too, but Francis has played extremely well. The other role players, the other guys along the way, can Karl Malone have a night? Tonight you had Mobley kick in with a good game. Taylor kick in with a good game. And it's going to be those guys who will probably determine the outcome if Shaq and Kobe can be balanced by Francis and Yao.
To that point, Taylor, Jim Jackson, and Mobley gave them 53 points. The other guys for the Lakers in terms of Karl Malone, only 18. Fisher had 10. And Gary Payton on the bench the whole 4th quarter again tonight. So that'll add to the subplots for the Lakers. Rush takes it. He misses. And for the first time in 5 years, the Houston Rockets have won a playoff game. And we have a series here in the Western Conference 2-7 matchup. Jim Gray.
Thank you very much. I have Steve Francis right here and Yao Ming. They're being rushed off by Jeff. Why are you rushing the guys off? He doesn't want them to talk for some reason tonight. They were corralled by the coach. Back to you guys.
All right, Jim. It's a playoff series. The gamesmanship continues. Steve Francis had 27, Cuttino Mobley 21. Francis a rebound and 3 assists shy of a triple-double. Shaq had 25, Kobe 21 on 7 of 22. For Jim Gray, Tom Tolbert, George Karl, Mike Tirico. Thanks for watching this presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Game 4 of the series on ABC at 3 Eastern. Houston wins by 11. Good night from Texas, and here's SportsCenter.